Welcome all. I'll declare this meeting open and acknowledge the traditional owners on the land on which we meet and pay respect to elders past, present and emerging. So it's open at 6:02. Record of attendance, apologies and approved leave of absence. So we've got Councillor Major, Councillor Moody, Councillor Layton, Councillor Richardson, Councillor Miliseski and Councillor Gibson by electronic attendance, and then Councillor Mansell here in person. And then officers, we've got CEO Matt Bird, Paul Spencer and Les Main Waring. And an apology from Nat Bell. Leave of absence.
And nil visitors.
Yes, nil visitors. Leave of absence. Got one from Councillor Moody.
That'll be
sorry, that's leave of absence for this meeting. Yep, sorry, we're not there yet. Response to previous public questions taken on notice. Nil. Public question time. There's nil members of the public here. Point 5, declaration of interest, nil. Point 6, applications for leave of absence. There you go, Councillor Moody.
Yeah, thanks, Shire President. So I do have one from Councillor Moody, hereby applying for leave of absence from the 15th of May 2025 to the 23rd of May 2025 inclusive for the purpose of a holiday.
Yeah.
Need a mover and seconder.
Do we have a mover for that one?
I'll move it.
Councillor Richardson, seconded Councillor Miliseski. All in favour?
Aye.
Carried. All right. Point 8, announcements, reports by elected members. We'll head round the room, starting with Councillor Moody.
I've attended a CBH meeting again in Perth, which was good again. One of the interesting things that I had the privilege to be at, and I thought this might be a good idea for the Shire to actually try this as well at some point, but it was Harmony Day, and they had all these people, and they brought in a plate of food that represented their culture or the country they came from, which was quite interesting because we had fairy bread and we had artists, you know, the Mills and Wares biscuits with Vegemite on them and pavlova and all sorts of different stuff, but there was a lot of it was actually really nice. But I had 3 different people speak about their culture and their country, and it was really interesting, and I thought it was a great thing to do. So yeah, just an idea that maybe the Shire could do something like that. Yep. Apart from that, I haven't really been to any other things. Just apart from the rain for all the farmers, it's a great start. I was going to say it was really good, but it might be a bit too wet out further east and north. So hopefully it doesn't do too much damage, but it's a great start for the farming district. Solved a few water issues too.
Sure has, yep.
But that's it for me.
Thanks, Councillor Moody. Councillor Mansell.
Yeah, I think I'm still officially on leave, but is that correct?
I thought you came back last week. I thought it was the 5th of April, but or might have been 8th of April, I think it might have been. But welcome back.
Well, good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Had a great holiday, but I went to the Anzac presentation at the Hopetown Primary School, and it was very, very hot. I was sitting in the quadrangle there, but it was a really good presentation, and they majored on the tree that's there, the pine tree. It's actually a descendant of the lone pine tree at Gallipoli.
Unreal.
And was presented to the school by a previous principal, Brendan Murray, and he actually has donated a plaque, and so they're going to put a seating arrangement around it so that when it grows up, kids can sit under there and have their lunch, and there'll be a plaque there explaining the where it came from and the story behind it. So that was good. That's me. Yep.
No, thanks, Councillor Mansell. I'm glad you got along to that event at the Hopi Primary there. Councillor Gibson.
Yeah, on the 19th of March, we had our local Mungnut Community Group AGM, and we also had a special general meeting and then our general meeting We've got a whole new committee, which is nice to have some fresh faces and newbies on the team. And we're also going through the changes to get a new constitution. I think that's just been submitted online to associations online as well. So that's great to get all that through. On the 22nd of March, the JCA, Jeddah Cut-Up Community Association, we had RRAC hold an open mic, or Sound Escape it was called. That had a mixture of musicians, local musicians, and it had lots of people camped out. It was well set up actually, and had a great selection of food, casseroles, kind of takeaway dinners. So that was really good. On the 25th of March, attended the Hopetown Senior Sports Day. Umpired and scored there. There was about 100 seniors that played in a mixture of different games, 7 teams. And it was good to see that Hopetown came out the overall winner for that. Next year, it'll be held in March 2026. It'll be held in Corrigan. And we're already getting all geared up, psyched up for that. I think they normally stay in Hyden or something for that actually, or Condon might be actually, they mentioned. And then 26th of March, attended the Munganapp community there, the local fire brigade and the Shire were involved with having the 50-year fire medal presentation for Ron Gibson and Brian Rawlinson for their part with the Munganapp Bushfire Brigade. That was where family and community gathered with the Shire and DFS. Also attended, there were some speeches made and some stories told, which was nice to hear. And their 2 fire trucks with their names, Ron on one and Brian on the other, were there for photo opportunities. And then the 27th of March, Dirty Pilates. We've got 8 regular attendees going. We've got a Pitch Your Project grant, $5,000 grant from Arcadian Lithium. So that's been great because that helps, cover costs for Alison Bell that travels out for that, to provide that opportunity for some of the locals there. Had some phone calls from locals regarding pricing and the water fobs or swipe cards at Munganapp. Then obviously the 1st of April was the April corporate discussion. 4th of April, I went to that Leading Women to Lead seminar with Kristen Prees-Brown from Valio Coaching. It was quite informative, and it was a good group of girls, like a large amount there actually. It was quite surprising. It was good. And then just after that finished, went to Business After Hours, Wavecrest as well. And then after that went to Ravensthorpe to the Footrock Flats show, which was absolutely sensational. I still can't get the smile off my face when I think about it. And Ravensthorpe was, very well attended, and I think they mentioned that they got a lot more laughs out of that show. Maybe that was because it was more farmers or whatever that got the jokes or whatever, I'm not sure. But it was a good opportunity to have somewhere local to have a meal and some live entertainment. So I sit down at the table and a meal and drink, so that was really good. And then on the 6th of April, went to the Port Hotel where the new owners were there and met them, and they had just a flat meal, Sunday roast, which was, but it was lovely. And on the rain comment, I think we could possibly, the Shire might get a few fogs returned from some mungy, farmers. I don't think we're going to have to be carting water for a while.
That's good.
Got some overflowing dams and tanks and rivers and all that, which is, it's a fair bit of water, but we're not going to complain. And that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Gibson. Councillor Miliseski.
I also attended the Hopetown Primary School Anzac Day celebrations as well, and like Roger said, it was a nice event, very moving as well. I've been having quite a few meetings with business owners and local community members, just seeing exactly what they're after and how we can actually try and source services what they need. Also, with Hopetown Progress, so we've had some movement with those guys at the moment to do with the Department of Communities. Is pleased to advise that the Hopetown Progress Association has been selected on the Community Housing Pre-Qualification Scheme for properties for up to 10 detached dwellings or up to 30 group dwellings. for over 55s and above. So, and that falls in the location of the Goldfields Esperance region and for the social housing band. So they're getting closer to what they need to get the status as well. So they're engaging two independent bodies to finish off what they need in order to progress in the next section of qualifications and to finally get approved, possibly as a tier 3 housing provider for the Shire of Ravensthorpe. And that's it for me.
Right, thanks, Councillor Miliceski. Councillor Richardson.
Yeah, I also attended Putruck Flats in Ravensthorpe.
Yep.
And I agree with Rachel, it was hilarious. I did hear a comment that the audience hadn't been quite so receptive in no time. I don't know. I want to comment on that one. I attended the Hopetown Seniors Games for a few hours. And it was good to see the old people. They're really competitive. Really competitive. And I attended the Shire stand at the markets for a few hours on Sunday. As far as the rain goes, we're lucky in this area because further west they have not had the rain.
No. Yeah.
That's pretty much me. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Richardson. Councillor Leighton.
Well, I had a guilt-free shower this morning. I stayed under there for 5 minutes. You know, it was great.
Yeah, nice full water, overflowing water tanks.
Yeah. Well, it's not overflowing, but yeah. Anyway, so that was good. But I missed the March meeting, obviously. But I was just going to go through what I've been to since March. So I went to the Twertup Fields Study Centre for the Shire of Ravensthorpe National Park AGM, which was good. Could only do the one day, couldn't do the second day there, where they had a walk into George's Gorge, which would have been really interesting. Getting to the wilderness area. I attended the International Women's Day here at the Town Hall. That was put on by Galaxy and had lots of school kids there and women. That was really, really good. I loved that. I went to the Jean Streams opening. Then the following day I went into be filmed into the park up at Barron's Lookout in East Mount Barron with Jean Streams mob. And then we shot off to the caravan and camping show the next day. So I spent 4 or 5 days there, which Ravensthorpe is really well known. So everyone comes up and talks. Lots of people come in and visit who are there. So it's really good to be on the ground there. So I think if it comes up again next year, it'd be good to have a councillor come and spend another day there, just a day or something to see what questions are asked and how they talk about the town and things like that. So that's good. And then the Fitzgerald Biosphere Community Collective had their quarterly catch up in Jarramunga. So we went to that. They're busy getting their reporting done, ready to go for UNESCO listing again for their nominations. Went to Footright Flats, had Footright Flats in my head for weeks and weeks now, since November or something like that. And Cecil was very happy. Eventually, very happy.
He looked happy.
Well, I can't look at our paramedic anymore, other than she's Dolores. So I've never really didn't know her name actually for a long time, but it's Dolores. The women's leadership workshop with Kristen was good, just to remind you of things that we should be looking at as leaders in the community. We then also the final regular scheduled Galaxy Community Group meeting here. On what day was that? On the 2nd, I think.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you did. It was quite interesting, telling us what's happening after care and maintenance and also mentioning that, they've engaged Year 4 to do community consultation for end of life mine, what the community would want out of that. So that was good. And then they had a farewell for Sean, which turned out really well. I thought quite interesting. I think the Hopetown Primary School did a fantastic job popping in the little song and video that they did. I thought was really interesting. And the district high school came up with the 3 paintings, which was fantastic as well. Yeah, anyway, it was really good. Really, then over the pub and had a drink and come home. Really good. I went to the Hopetown markets. With a few good conversations there. One that thought that he might have come in tonight to have a chat, but hasn't. So, and then the Friends of the Fitzgerald River National Park Committee meeting via Zoom. That was good. Talked about the grant that they've got for the botanist, and they're also an assistant to help with that and admin. So it's a 3-year thing, and I think Annie Leach will become the assistant to the botanist. So that gives her more time in a bit. I went to which was really good. Went to that Walga Zone meeting. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, good on you for going to that.
Well received. Everyone's saying, "Oh, it's good to see."
Yeah, good.
Here, and I thought it was really good. I enjoyed the meeting. They were saying that what they're going to advocate for to the government was that they don't have a renewable energy strategy yet. But I think Albanese announced it, didn't he? We've now got a renewable energy strategy, but I don't think anyone's seen it. So that came in the day after or something. The other one was the regional roads. Everyone's, advocating for that. And the health going to, then the feds know and the state know that they should be looking after health, not local governments.
Yeah. You sure at the moment?
The other one that came up was that they're talking about the keeping the sheep. If they lose all the sheep trade, then what will happen is it'll become more of a cropping area. It'll be go mainly under crop, and then that will put more traffic on the road, and also that affects the roads again. And then the other thing was that they're saying that it can become a bigger fire hazard as opposed to where there's areas where it's not, it's not any coverage. Yeah, that was it. And I thought it was pretty good. And I mentioned all the things that you said that we did about, we've got the same thing with the 48-hour free camp, and I did mention that how many more caravans are coming across the road, because, Queensland's flooded, the desert's flooded, northern New South Wales is flooded and damaged, Grampians is on fire, was on fire, they've been on that, but they're heading this way. And you probably notice it.
I just tell them that Munganup's flooded.
Yeah, so funny, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, that was it that I can remember.
Yep, no, thanks, Councillor Leighton. You've had a busy time there. Okay, for myself, on the 25th of March, I attended the seniors games in the evening there to make a speech and hand out some awards. And yeah, that was a good fun event. They are very competitive. And they all seemed to enjoy themselves, and it was brought a lot of new people to the region. So I thought that was good. Then on the 26th, I attended the Munganup Bushfire Brigade 50-year medal presentations for Ron Gibson and Brian Rawlinson. So that was a special event to be involved in. That was great. On the 26th, so that evening had a monthly catch up with the CEO. Then on the 28th, had an interview with ABC Regional Driver, Gene Streams sculpture here in Ravensthorpe. So that's something that they'd picked up on. 29th, I attended the Ravensthorpe and Districts Football Association AGM, I wouldn't usually comment on those in these meetings, but so Rod Dorr has officially retired as the Secretary Treasurer of that committee too, after nearly or over 60 years in an exec position in that committee. So, yep. So that was, it was nice to see, yep, him recognised and pass the baton on. On the 1st of 3rd, had corporate discussion here in Ravy, and then on the 11th of the 4th, attended a Future Fund meeting here in Ravensthorpe, and then 14th of April, so that's yesterday, interview with the ABC in Esperance re rainfall, flooding, and road closures. So yeah, that was my month since the last meeting. Okay, so thanks everyone. So I'll just jump back a sec there to 7.1 in the agenda to confirmation of minutes of the previous meeting. So if I could get a mover that the minutes and associated attachments of the OCM held on the 18th of March 25 be confirmed as a true and correct record. Move Councillor Moody. Seconder. Councillor Gibson. Anyone want to speak on that motion? No. All in favour? Yep.
I wasn't here, so I'm good.
Yeah, so that's carried. So Sue wasn't here. Just we'll note that. Right. Announcements by presiding person, Neil. Petitions, deputations, presentations, Neil. 11.1, Ravensthorpe Bushfire Advisory Committee BFAC AGM and ordinary meeting minutes. Okay. So bear with me here. There's a bit to get through here. So committee recommendations out of that that group is that point 1, council receive the unconfirmed minutes of the BFAC committee annual general meeting and ordinary meeting held 11th of March 2025, and so we'll move these on block at the end. Point 2, endorse the following nominations as detailed in the minutes of the annual general meeting held on 11th of March. Election of deputy chairman, that Keith Rowe be endorsed as the BFAC committee deputy chair. Election of chief bushfire control officer, that Malcolm Grant be endorsed as the Shire of Ravensthorpe chief bushfire control officer. Noting that he has conditionally accepted, subject to Shire confirmation, of how his BRMC role will impact on his CBFCO role. Election of deputy chief fire control officers, that Gavin Gibson, Ryan Duncan and Reece Laycock be endorsed by the Shire of Ravensthorpe deputy chief bushfire as deputy chief bushfire control officers. Gav Gibson is the gazetted deputy bushfire control officer per the Bushfires Act 94, given his seniority in those three. Nomination of fire weather officers, that Malcolm Grant is endorsed as the Shire of Ravensthorpe weather officer and Gav Gibson is the deputy fire weather officer as per the current gazettal. Confirmation of elected fire control officers, that all confirmed fire control officers be endorsed as the Shire of Ravensthorpe 25-26 fire control officers. 2025-26 fire control officers for the broader region, and there's a big table there. I'm not going to read that all out, but there's a lot of names there from across the area. As per the agenda, nominations for dual fire control officers to neighbouring local governments, as per the below table. Point 3. So that's point 2. Point 3, approve that the Shire write to DBCA requesting that the new dozer and float be located in Ravensthorpe, utilising existing washdown bay at the DBCA depot. Point 4, receive the BFAC officers report. Point 5, endorse changes to the Shire of Ravensthorpe harvest zone areas per the BFAC motion below. Point 6, endorse the recommended changes to the fire control notice with regards to the camping and cooking fires at Masons and Starvation Bay, and all recommendations put by the committee. So there's recommendations 1 through to 8 there. Point 7, advertise the bushfire control and fire break notice, elected officers, fire control officers and fire weather officers 25-26 for the Shire of Ravensthorpe in accordance with S38 2A of the Bushfire Controls Act 1954. Point 8, give notice to all owners and occupiers of land in its district by publishing a notice in the Government Gazette in according with subsections 33, 1 and 2 of the Bushfires Act 1954. Point 9, endorse the BFAC terms of reference in its draft proposed form. Point 10, endorse the Bushfire Advisory Committee recommendation to adopt a new Shire of Ravensthorpe standard operating procedure, SOP 0.1, turnout and attendance, to be added to the Shire Standard Administration and Operating Procedures manuals as amended per the below. Point 11, Council not proceed with the draft SOP containment and extinguishment of fires, however recommended it to be used as a training guidance note. Point 12, endorse the BFAC recommendation for the OWG to enter into an interagency memorandum of understanding, MOU, with DBCA with regards to a cooperative approach to suppression of bushfires in the Shire.
Well done.
That is all 12 points. So do we have a mover for those 12 points on block? Move, Councillor Moody. Seconder, Councillor Gibson. Anyone want to speak on that motion?
I'd just like to say that the OWG have done a lot of work to get all these recommendations in, so I'd just like to congratulate them for the work they've done.
Yep. Thanks, Councillor Moody. Any other else want to speak on this motion? All in favour? Yep, that's carried. All right, 11, matters arising from committees of council. 11.2, Ravensthorpe Local Emergency Management Committee. And the recommendation is that council receive the unconfirmed minutes of the LEMAC LEMC meeting held on the 5th of March 2025. Do we have a mover for that? Move, Councillor Richardson, seconded Councillor Layton. Anyone want to speak on that motion? No, all in favour?
Yep.
Carried. Right, 12.1.1, draft recreational vehicles RV friendly policy. Do we have and there is a slight amendment just to that policy in to that recommendation in point 3. We've crossed out the word "the" between "to" and "visit" to make that read a bit better. That's just a small change there. So do I have a mover for point? So the recommendation is endorse the draft RV policy as per attachment 12.1.1 to this report to seek public comment. Point 2, authorise the CEO to work with commercial caravan park operators within the district to offer low-cost camping options that ensure RV-friendly status is maintained for townships and the region. Point 3, authorise the CEO to investigate additional opportunities to attract RV visitation to visit and stay in the region, including encouraging small-scale, low-impact tourism accommodation uses in rural areas that are complementary with existing agricultural uses. Do we have a mover for those points? Move, Councillor Moody, seconded Councillor Layton. Would anyone like to speak on this motion? No? Okay, all in favour? Yep, that's carried. 12.2.1, monthly financial report for the 31st of March. Recommendation that council receive the March 2025 monthly financial reports as presented. Mover for that one, Councillor Richardson. Move Councillor Richardson. As seconder, Councillor Gibson. Anyone want to speak on that motion? No, all in favour? Yep, that's carried. 12.2.2, schedule of accounts payments for March 2025. Recommendation that council pursuant to Regulation 13 of the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996, the payment of accounts for the month of March 2025 be noted. We'll move for that one. Move Councillor Richardson. Seconder. Councillor Layton. Anyone want to speak on that motion? All in favour? That's carried. 12.3.1 itinerant trading policy. So that's a draft amended itinerant trading policy. So let me find the so the recommendation is that council endorse the LLP 13 itinerant trading policy as amended. Move for that one. I'll move it. I'll get on the board. Yep. Move Councillor Layton. Yep. Anyone want to speak on that motion? No. All in favour? That's carried. All right, 12.3.2. I'm going to suggest we lay this item on the table for further investigation and consideration. So move on to 12.4.1. Community Water Supply Program Grant, Mary's Road Tank. So that's the recommendation is that Council, point 1, endorse the additional land use designation of water tank to reserve 8456 lot 1455 on deposited plan 187378 on Springdale Road, Hopetown. And point 2, that was point 1. Point 2, request the CEO writes to the Minister for Planning, Lands, Housing, Homelessness to request the additional land use designation water tank to reserve 8456 lot 1455 on deposited plan 187378 on Springdale Road, Hopetown, pursuant to S42 of the Land Administration Act 1997. We have a mover for those 2 points. Move Councillor Miliceski. Seconder. Councillor Moody. Anyone want to speak on this motion? No. All in favour? It's carried. Point 13 nil. Point 14 nil. Point 15 nil. So that brings me to point 16, closure of the meeting at 6:35. Thanks everyone for their attendance.